It's Alicia from My Work Basket, here to chat with you in a vlog today about some different things going on in my life and in my crafty world. First, I want to point out, it's so stupid, but I'm oddly excited about this. My giant bulletin board. So I decided to hang this in the craft room yesterday, and I'm just super into it. I have had this bulletin board since I was about 13 years old. I've had it a long time. And when my son was little, I actually covered it with felt. I made it into a giant felt board for him. And it's still been sitting in our house. And I'm like, I've had pictures and things like just kind of stapled to the wall. And I really wanted to do kind of more of a mood idea board where I print things out and put things up. And I was like, I should get a big bulletin board. And I was like, but wait, there's one in the basement. So I peeled off the old felt. And it was so funny because I've had this board literally was with me through all my teenage years. So it has phone numbers of old friends, and it has, like, you know, Fruit Loop was here. Fruit Loop was my best friend's nickname. And so it's just like all this stuff. It's just such a time warp to read some of the things on it. There's like, I love so-and-so, who I no longer for many, many years have loved so-and-so. It has my husband's first cell phone number, like when he very first time got a cell phone, and like, yeah, like it's so wild to just kind of look at what's on it. But I'm already filling it with new stuff for me and for the homeschool. There is a thing, I don't know how much you can see on the big, there is a thing of coins, you know, most of it's crafty stuff, but I have like the grading thing that we're going to use for high school grades up there, and some artsy stuff, and like it's just going to grow and grow. But I was so super excited. Just, I don't know, something about seeing it again and having it up, just it made me so happy. So I've got a giant new bulletin board in my craft room. Excited about that. I have been doing a bunch of hand sewing, and if anybody watching this has thimble suggestions, please give them to me. My two fingers right here are so just torn up on the tip. I noticed yesterday, I was like, do I have like a weird, like, what's going on? I thought I had like a weird rash or something, but no, it's just, they look awful. So I have a leather thimble with like a metal tip that I like to use for like cross stitching. I can't picture wearing that like all the time that I hand sew. And I like the ones Clover makes, where it's just like a little strip around your fingertip. But I am not a very dainty person. I have kind of large hands for a woman, I guess. And they get really like too tight feeling after a while. So I like them, but I've never found a thimble that I could stand to wear for the length of time that I would need to wear it. So if anybody has thimble suggestions, please leave them in the comments below, because my fingers look ridiculous. Also, it's my middle and ring finger, and I feel like most people end up using their index finger more. So I don't, anyway. Yes, if you have suggestions for me involving thimbles, please, please, please comment, because my fingers look terrible. So one of the things that I have been regularly working on with hand sewing is this somewhat ugly little mini quilt. I ended up putting extra layers of batting in here. It's like 3 layers, I think. It's just to practice some of my hand sewing and to use up some scraps and to practice my hand quilting. But the extra fluff of so many layers is making it a little bit more awkward to quilt. Probably not the best way to start hand quilting. But it's okay that it's a little bit ugly, because I'm just going to turn it into a hot pad. It was mostly for practice. And most of these squares and pieces I actually got in a fill-a-bag of scraps at Scrap Be More. So some of these, like this was already quilted together. This strip here was actually, these were already quilted together. One of these two were actually like sewn together, but like incorrectly, and I pulled them out for something else. But I really want to get more and more into no waste or very minimal waste in my crafting. And so I got some tiny scraps for fill a bag, because I wanted to get more into mini quilts and smaller projects, and all of my scraps were larger. And since I was buying stuff anyway, I got little bitty, itty bitty scraps for that. So that is coming along. I mean, it's not mind-blowing, but it's probably the most hand sewing I've ever done on a single project. All of the squares that I have sewn together or hand sewn together, and all of the quilting to the thing is by hand. And it looks not great. I'm not a precision type of person, but that is coming along. I made pants. Super excited about it. I showed the fabric that I bought for these way back, like spring. I was like, I bought some fabric for pants. Have yet to actually make any pants until this weekend. Unfortunately, I cannot manage to get a good photo of me wearing said pants. They are overalls. They are very wide leg. I have a video coming soon of kind of their construction process, but I'm having a hard time getting a photo of the finished pants because they're overalls, so it's essentially got to be a full body photo. And they're very wide leg, so if I stand apart, it looks ridiculous, and if I stand together, you can't tell they're pants. I need to actually have my husband take pictures of me like outside in the garden or something one day wearing them, because I had my son take a picture of me wearing them just to show my friends that they were done. And it's so ridiculous. My son is 6'4". He's a big fella. He's not done growing yet. But he's 6'4" already. And so him taking a picture of me looking down at me, I looked like a child. It was ridiculous. Like, I'm like, ah! So it was crazy. But I'm super in love with them. They are done. I did 3 sets of buttons, so they're a bit adjustable for like chest length. So I can crisscross the straps, I can non-crisscross the straps, and I've got some different options. And so yeah, there will be a video of those coming up of how I did it, and you can do it. They don't take a pattern. They are my no pattern pants. I love them. They are super comfortable, but there will be a video for those soon. And then I have a few other quick things to show you in this video. First of all, just for fun, here's a weird fish. I don't know why it doesn't have a mouth. It cracks me up that it doesn't have a mouth, but I bought that while I was on vacation, and it got unpacked and has been sitting in my craft room entertaining me with his mouthlessness. So I recently got another giant box of magazines. Yeah, like a lot of magazines. It was approximately, I think she said 285 copies of the work basket. So I did a whole series of Friday flips about the work basket and like my personal history with the work basket. So the work basket magazine is literally where my work basket came from. When I first started, I did this thing where every month I would take an issue and pretend it had just come in the mail and like work the recipes and like make the crafts and like, unfortunately it didn't gain a lot of traction, and it also was a ton of work because, I mean, let's be honest, when you get a magazine, the most you're desperate to make is like one project. So it was like this constant like workload of me making stuff I didn't really care about for the sake of having it for the website, and I didn't stick with it. But I love the magazine, the work basket. The work basket is how I got started in all that I do. It is how I started collecting vintage magazines. It's such a big part of like who I am and how I came to be here and do this. I have collected the work basket magazine for well over 10 years. I don't even remember how or when it started. I have hundreds of issues. I have so many issues. They take about a full bookshelf, like just by themselves. At one point I had them all divvied up as 2 years and by month, and like I need to reorganize them because I've gotten so many new to me issues in my collection. I have duplicates of some. I have some issues that I don't have in my collection. I mean, like they made that magazine for so long. But somebody was getting rid of, it was their mother's and their aunts and best friends copies. Their mother had died, and I bought the entire lot. In fact, I still need to mail her check. I have that sitting. I wanted to write a letter about how excited I am for the magazines. So I need to mail her check for them. But I got some new magazines, and I pulled out just a few. I didn't go through every single issue. I put most of them aside. And, sorry, excuse me. I put most of them aside, but I pulled out a very few issues that I was like, these have something I really want to make. I've talked in magazine videos before about how I have kind of a system where I just flip, work through them real quick. I only did certain years of going back through these. And I also, because The work basket is printed on more of a newsprint type paper. It's very hard to do like Post-its or something to show you what I want to show you. I'm trying to kind of flip through now. So I think the main two in this one were that I really liked this doily pot holder thing. Centerpiece, it says. And also there is a doll pattern in here. So that was that. So yeah, usually I flip through magazines really quick, and I set aside just a few that have projects I desperately want to take on right away. There's also in here how to bind your work baskets, which I think is nice. Oh, here was another one. It had a dog bookmark. Just a simple little. So that was one. That was February 1964. There's always something that I'm like, oh, that's really neat. This one has a knitted doily. Sometimes I go back through and I'm like, I don't know why I set this aside, because there's like nothing in it that I love. But usually if I set it aside, oh, this one had this hexagon hot plate mat set. And I wanted to try that. That might be the only thing in that issue. There's a couple others that are neat. I mean, every issue has some neat stuff, but I think that was the main reason I set that one aside. So yeah, so the Work Basket magazine is just a huge part of kind of my personal history. And I bought a bunch of them. Now, however, for the record, I'm cutting back on my magazine purchases. Cutting back. It's not that I have enough, because I don't think I'll ever have enough. But in the past year, and in fact, maybe even just this year, I've gotten about 100 pounds of new magazines, which is a lot of new magazines. And I want to catch up with chronicling what I have and putting them in some variety of order before I add another box of magazines. So I'm trying to cut back on my magazine purchases. I've said it. It's recorded now. I am still doing the Summer of Stash, so that means I am buying very little for like the foreseeable future. Okay, so the other magazine things that I pulled aside were, I'm not hugely like into red, white, and blue, but I loved this Afghan is actually done with the double-ended hook, crochet on the double style. And I pulled that out to maybe try it or try some of it. The crochet on the double. I do have some authentic crochet on the double hooks, but my personal hooks are, my personal favorites are the Denise interchangeables, and I have multiple sets so I can make my own double-ended hooks, which comes in handy for like Tunisian crochet in the round. But I liked that that Afghan was crochet on the double. And I haven't done that much of crochet on the double, so I couldn't already picture how it was done. So I want to do that to kind of just practice more crochet on the double. And then, I mean, chances are if you know me, you know why I set this aside. But it might not just be the one on the cover. There was some other good stuff in here. I did love this. Oh, that's why. Okay, so this exact pattern is in another magazine. I think it's the Work Basket, actually. And I started it, and I have a bunch of squares for it. But I couldn't, like, the pattern itself kind of got lost in the fray. I remember the pattern stitch is like a single crochet, double crochet combo. But how to do it, how many to chain, and all that is kind of lost in the realm of UFOs, unfinished objects. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, that's the Afghan I was working on. So I have a bunch of squares for this downstairs. No doubt not enough squares for a finished blanket. So I pulled this aside for that exact pattern because I was like, oh, that's the pattern. So then I can use that and hopefully finish that blanket. I do have like a drawer full of squares. I don't actually know how many squares. I know they're all like really ugly, wild colors. But I've got some squares, and hopefully having that pattern now will help me to finish that. So out of the whole box of 285, I think she said it was magazines. I did not look at all 285. I looked through the pile. She was so great. They're like bundled by year. It's fantastic. fantastic. It's fantastic. So she did such a great job in her shipping and how they're organized. So it seriously is like all the 60s were in a thing, all of the like 70s. They're just bundled in like rubber band. And so I went through the issues that were from the 40s. There was a few of those in there because I'm looking for a specific issue that I know that I have, that someone contacted me about a pattern I did on my website and wanted the pattern. And I have been looking and looking and looking for this issue everywhere so that I can send the pattern to this lady. I cannot find it. I know I have it. I can't find it. So I looked through all of the 40s to look for that for her. It wasn't there, so I'm still looking for that. And I looked through all of the 60s that had kind of this style cover. And so I went through those. I didn't look through all the like 70s, 80s and all that was in there. I only looked through. It was a huge box. It's so many magazines. So many magazines. It's very exciting. More exciting than the ridiculously old corkboard. Also, real quick, one last thing that I'm going to essentially show you is these were sent to me free for review. I'm disclosing that for both honesty's sake and legal reasons. I have to tell you that I got these free to review. I am very impressed with them. I haven't started a project from them yet, but I do hope to make projects from them. I don't know that it will be soon enough to do the company, you know, a fair, like, hey, these are awesome. But I want to show them to you because I do think they're awesome. The patterns that I've read over seem very accurate and great. And I'm generally pretty impressed with them and quite happy. So I got two books. I got Felt and Fur, which is all different stuffed animals and plushies. And there's one right here that you can probably see why I picked it. I mean, besides the fact that I love sewing plushies and fun stuff, I was very happy with the book in general. Some of the patterns do need to be copied at like larger percentages. They're shrunk down. I do love when a book has full-size patterns, but I know it's a pain in the butt. The only complaint that I had as an experienced sewer, as someone who's done this type of thing before, a few of the patterns felt to me like they could have, I don't want to say been left out, but they're what you would essentially call a cookie cutter shape. You cut two of the same exact thing, you sew them together like two cookie cutters. And I feel like the book could have just, you know, mentioned, oh, hey, you can do this with any shape at all that you want, instead of taking several pages per project for, you know, just specific ones. But they have pretty good instructions. So like this is one where it's a leaf. And it's just two of the same exact leaf cut out. And I feel like that could have, you know, saved several pages by just sewing multiple projects that you can do like that. But the fabrics seem very easy to access. The patterns seem very detailed. The instructions seem great. So I'm very impressed with how the book is put together and the level of instructions that it has. There's a full page of my slothy buddy. One thing that didn't make a lot of sense to me is there's like a furry lemon, which I don't get why make the lemon out of fur. Personally, if I make the lemon, I would just use fleece. A furry lemon, just, I mean, whatever. But so I was very happy with the variety in the book and the quality of the instructions. Every pattern has several pages. If you are new to sewing things like this, I feel that you could pick up the book and be, bam, ready to go and follow along and come out with a result that you're happy with. And that means a lot to me because a lot of books they don't have enough level of instruction to make me happy. I'm very picky about what I suggest to people, but I was very happy with this. I'm trying to find, you know, something. So I was going to show you the furry lemon, but yeah, there's a lemon and they made it out of fake fur. I personally would just use fleece, but you know, whatever. So I'm very happy with that. Felt and Fur. This is by GMC Books. It doesn't, I'll try to put a link to it on like Amazon or somewhere in the description box. I'm very happy with it. I'm pretty impressed. I have too many projects going to tackle any of those projects right now, but I'm very happy and I feel great about suggesting the book to you. And the same is true with the cute crocheted woodland creatures. I am in love. Some of the patterns are so cute, so cute. So one thing to note with the cute crocheted woodland creatures is it is a British Pretty sure they're in London, book company. So they use UK terms for their crochet. So that is just something to know. It is very, very, very easy to switch between British terminology and American terminology. Our stitches are just one smaller, but if you use the instructions in the book, it does have instructions in the back to how to do their stitches. You know, you could do it. It shows you, it does have instructions for how to crochet in the book. And it shows you stitches and techniques. So the biggest thing to take away though is just that if you already know how to crochet, you're going to be used most likely to American terminology, which is slightly different, but it's just one down. So what they call a treble, we call a double. What they call a double, we call a single. So if you go into it knowing that, it'll be a little bit of constant, you know, taking it down, but I don't find it hard to, you know, switch back and forth between the two as long as you know they're down. My favorite character in the whole book is Finn Frog. I love that he's a frog, but he has flippers and arm swimmies on. So he's my favorite character in the entire book of Crocheted Creatures. There are tons of super cute ones, and there's like a whole intro at the beginning where it shows you. Now, one thing to note is that I don't think, and I could be wrong, I don't think that the clothing from certain animals goes with other animals. Like, I don't think you can make one animal and all the clothes and have them kind of a wardrobe. I think the clothes vary, but that's based only on me skimming the book and reading some of the patterns and sizing. But you can see here all of the characters up close with their clothing. They are super cute. And skimming through the patterns, nothing seemed off to me. And this is another one, I don't really have the time to take on one of these projects at the moment. I will no doubt make some of these. But reading over the patterns, they sound good to me. So nothing jumps out at me as like, oh, it's missing something. But each animal has a intro page with about them and information. So Finn has a wide smile to show what a joyful soul he is, and it points out how he wears his swimmies. And yeah, so it's a great book. I was really impressed. The pictures are great. The coloring is, I mean, they're just great. So I was really impressed with them, and I wanted to recommend them to you. They're adorable. I love this picture of the bear putting on his pajamas. So both of those books, I will try to put links in the description box. They most likely won't be affiliate links. If they are affiliate links, I will of course say so. Anytime I mention that it's an affiliate link, it just means I might, depending on the website and how everything works out, make a small commission if you make a purchase. I am legally required to disclose to you that it is an affiliate link. So you know, anytime that I post an affiliate link, I will always say above the link that it is an affiliate link, and you have that choice of following it or not. I don't think that it will be an affiliate link for these two, because I don't think I have it set up anywhere that might have them. I have to look and see. But I feel very good suggesting those books to you. I was very impressed with them. I actually used to do a lot of book reviews and started to just get some like awful stuff. I mean, stuff that just didn't relate to what I do at all. Stuff that was just like, how did this person get a book deal? And so I stopped doing book reviews for a really long time because I just wanted to stop getting the emails, and I wanted to stop getting the crap. And when like a company sends me something, I really feel a pressure, whether the company puts it on me or not, to like talk about what they sent me, because that's the whole point. And I didn't like feeling like I was suggesting things I didn't like, or trying to be like, oh, well, we did this one project and it worked out. And I'm not doing that anymore. So from now on, if I get a book and I'm like, hey, I got this book and I want to show you, you can trust that I personally liked it and was like good about that book. But this company, I kept getting press releases for them and ignoring them. I'm like, I don't do books anymore. I don't do book reviews anymore. And then it was just so many cute ones in a row. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to write them. I'm going to be like, look, this is how I do book reviews. Take it or leave it. And essentially it was like, you can send them to me. You can send me anything you want. I'm not going to talk about it if it sucks. Like, that's that. These books both really impressed me. The day they came in the mail, flipping through them, the quality, the size, everything about them made me very happy. So I feel great suggesting them to you. So that is everything that I think I had to really talk about today. I need to get a Friday flip recorded for this week. I do not currently have one done already. The video for my no pattern pants will be coming up soon. For my particular pants, be prepared for the fact that I didn't necessarily care how they came out. Like, they could be shorts, they could be pants, they could be overalls. I didn't care. And I'll talk more about that in the video, but there are measurements you can take if you do care how they come out and what kind of size and style they come out as. I didn't care, so I didn't put in that work. So, full disclosure on those pants, my no pattern pants are like pretty much like zip, 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 sew it together, see what happens. But I will talk in the video about how to control the outcome a little bit more. So, that is everything I had to show for you today. Thanks for chatting with me. Again, if you have thimble recommendations, please leave them in the comments. My two fingers look awful. They look like they just don't look good. So I thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic day. I'm sorry, I was just hammering. I was shaking my camera because I was hammering the table. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Have a great day.